Finally doing some research.
Wow.
I need to do what I need to do is what I said today, do a TBD and just move on because
Gotta wait till you're ready.
I'm stuck in
Did you get
trying to wrap
secondary
up.
now?
Yeah, like there's not much happening. There's stuff to say, but it's not action driven. And I'm stuck. How to get that out and
Right away. I'm not shy.
It's actually the middle is all the hardest part. Even Brene Brown talks about the tough middle.
yeah.
In the context of decided to work on a project together, and you start working on it, it's great, and then you get in the middle.
Right.
And that's where the problems come.
Right.
It's also Jewish songs, yeah, Jew verses, you know, those. So,
Really? Always.
I have no idea. Isn't that crazy that Oakland Candy was talking about the eggs? And the abs from these ones literally getting overdosed.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Will not value what is valueless. I 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 will not value what is valueless. And what is valueless? Let's see what is valueless. Let's see what is valueless. First thing is, if you choose a thing that will not last forever, what you chose is valueless. What? If you choose a thing that will not last forever, what you choose is valueless. That means you want what you can count on, that will always be there for you. You want what you can count on, that will last always. That's what you want to focus on. So what is it that we can count on that will last always? The truth. The truth never changes. You can always count on the truth. It will never change, no matter what. Whether your race, your gender, your wealth, your social, economic condition, the truth will always last. It will never change. What's the truth? You give everything you see all the meaning that it has for you. That's a truth that will never change. Another truth is All that I give is given to myself. All that I give is given to myself. All that I give is given to. What's another truth? I bless the world because I bless myself. 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 I bless the Earl because I bless myself. What? I bless the Earl because I bless myself. Another thing is, I am sustained by the love of God. I am sustained by the love of God. I am sustained by the love of God. These are examples that will let us know that we're believing in something that will never change. Your beliefs create your perceptions. My beliefs create my perceptions. What? My beliefs create my perceptions. My beliefs create my perception is a truth that we can always count on. I am never upset for the reason I think. I'm never upset for the reason I think. I'm never upset for the reason I think. These are all things that we can count on. Notice that everything I said that we can count on is our thoughts, ways of looking at things. Notice I didn't say one physical material thing, because there is no physical material thing that will last forever. And that's why, according to the Course in Miracles, that's why it's not valuable. Not because we don't think it's valuable, not because we don't give it value, but if you think about it, anything you can't really count on that's not really dependable is truly not really valuable. That's the first one. The first one. The next one is, if you choose to take a thing away from someone else and you deny their right to everything, you're denying your right to everything. So if you think you can take something from someone else and have it, that's not a truly valuable idea or a truly valuable thought. If you try to take away, you're in competition. If you try to get, the Course says, you're being deceived. You're being deceived by the idea that loss can offer gain. That I take something from you that's your loss, somehow that's going to cause gain. So what that does is attract those types of minds and consciousness into your life. And you draw people to you that believe that taking is the way to get. And so before you know it, you're surrounded by people who are in competition with you. People who believe that getting is the way to have, instead of giving is the way to have. All that you give is given to yourself. We have one self. We are one self. We are one self united with our Creator. We are one self united with our Creator. We are one self united with our Creator. I know it looks like there are a lot of selves, but there's just one self. Gratitude. Gratitude is love. You can depend on that. You can depend on that. Your next consideration is, why is the choice you make of value to you? Why is the choice you make of value to you? The next time you are getting ready to choose, to decide, to pick something out, to decide that you want it, remember to tell yourself, like, why is this choice I'm making of value to me? Why is this choice I'm making of value to me? That's the first consideration. What is the purpose? What is it for? What is the purpose? What is it for? Why is the choice I make of value to me? Why is the choice you make of value to you? Now, I like to put these thoughts to rhythm so that I can make an impact on myself and feel it beyond my intellect. When I put a little funk to it, then it stays in my body, in my mind. Do you know that the body is the seat of your memory? Do you know that all your memories are stored in your body? That's why you can have a scar on your leg that you got when you were 9 years old. And you can look down on your leg 20 years later and still see the scar. It's because of cellular memory. Your cells are remembering, and everything you think and everything you feel is stored within your body. So if you can get your emotions and your feelings involved, it will impact your consciousness more. It will impact your body more. It will impact your mind more. It will impact your heart more. So ask yourself, if there's some choices that you need to make right now, some decisions that you need to make right now, something's been on your mind, ask yourself this question right now, which is, why is this choice I made of value to me? Why is this choice 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 of value to me? And breathe. Hi, Sophia, Ryan, Susan, Laura, Jerry, Elizabeth, Giovanna, Tony, Demola, Barbara. Welcome to the Course of Miracles. We got some mighty companions. We got a lot of mighty companions tuning in with us tonight. Our group is a lot bigger than we think. Actually, our group is consisting of literally hundreds of people. So feel that energy. Feel that energy of all these incredible beings. They're sending all kinds of hearts. James, Myrna, May, send them some energy, and they're sending us energy. And remember to ask yourself this question. The next question is, what attracts your mind to it? What attracts your mind to it? What's attracting your mind to it? Here's an even better question. What attracts your mind to them? What is attracting your mind to them? You know who them are. Why are you attracted to them? Why are you attracted to them? Why is that choice of value to you? Why is this the person that you're connecting with? Why is this the person you're trying to spend time with? What attracts your mind to them? You all are so cute, you all are distracting. It's just ridiculous. I had a couple of impure thoughts. Just ridiculous. Just a couple. Just a couple. Thank you for joining with me today. Thank you for wanting to see things another way. Thank you for wanting to be in love without delay. Thanks for not waiting another day
to come out and play.
After class, you may go to a restaurant and have a filet. on a Sunday. And of course, the miracle says you're one big great ray.
Start finishing watches Raj say.
Yeah, just like listening to me say. In order to hear this today, remember what? That you need not believe it, you need not accept it, you need not welcome it. Some of it's going to be hard to believe, some of it's going to be startling. We're not being asked to judge and analyze it. If we use it, we'll see that it works. If we use it, we'll see that it works. This is the way it works. I'm speaking, you're interpreting what I'm saying. I'm speaking, but you are interpreting what I'm saying. So what you're listening to is your interpretation of what I'm saying. You are not listening to me. To be clear about this, you are not listening to me. You're taking what I'm saying and then you're putting your spin on it. And it's your spin on it that you're saying that's what I'm saying. So the truth is, you're never hearing anything directly, ever. You're always hearing your interpretation of it. And it's your interpretation of it that's determining how you're responding. So when you're not enjoying yourself in any situation, it's because you're listening to your interpretation of the experience that you're having. You go to a party, you say you're not having a good time, it's your interpretation of the party that's making you not have a good time. So my point in saying that is that when you answer people, and people ask you questions, and they're having a dialogue with you, and then you're getting ready to respond, keep in mind that they are not hearing what you're saying. They're hearing their interpretation of what you're saying. So while you're trying to be so careful to make sure that you say it just right, it doesn't make any difference. And here's the other thing. Whenever they're listening to you, the way that they already feel is going to determine their interpretation of what you're saying. If I'm unhappy and I have a memory, then I'm going to search my memory for other things that make me feel and have made me feel unhappy. If I'm feeling good and I'm having a good day, then when I have memories, I'm going to go back through the memories that make me feel really, really good. So your present state of consciousness, your present state of mind is determining what parades before your perception and your memories right now. I want you to, and just kind of think about this for a minute. So if you're in a bad mood, you're going to always have the supported memories, the associative memories that support the bad mood. If I'm upset with you, I have a tendency to remember everything you've ever upset me about. Right? And if I'm feeling really good, you've done something that's really pleased me, before I know it, I'm thinking of all the good times we've had together. So what is that saying? It's saying your present state of mind is determining everything. Not your past state of mind, not your future state of mind. The way you're feeling right here, right now, is determining everything about how you experience in this moment. So when you are in this class, then you're the one that's giving you a good time or not in it. Okay? I give damn good classes, so you should be having a great time. So if you're having anything other than that, I don't have any responsibility for that. That's you giving yourself that by what you're telling yourself. Some people in here going, God, I feel great to be with my mighty companions. And if you're in a sour mood or depressed, then you're sitting here and you're judging everything and everybody that's in the room right now. So when you respond to a person who's asking you a question, then answer that person in terms of what you want to come to you. Answer them in terms of what you want to experience, because they're not hearing you anyway. So therefore, you say what you want to remember, and you say what you want to reinforce, and you say what you want to believe, because you're the one that's interpreting you. So when they ask you a question, pause for a minute and remember that what you say to them is what's going to come to you and affect you. And then answer them in terms of what you would want to hear. That's different from the way we're programmed. Because we still are thinking that what we're saying, they're hearing. They're not hearing what you're saying. They're hearing the meaning they're giving to what you're saying. So in this section that we're covering called I Will Not Value the Valueless, it's lesson 133 in the Course in Miracles workbook. The most important question you can ask yourself is, why is the choice you make of value to you? What's attracting your mind to it? And the third question is, what purpose does it serve? If I'm going to be in a relationship with you, what purpose does it serve? If I'm going to be your friend, what purpose does it serve? It can't be just so our bodies can hang out. You know, that's no purpose. That's having no purpose. That's not using it to you're either using every relationship to wake you up or put you to sleep. You're either using every relationship in your life to move you toward love and joy, or you're using it to delay you. And so ask yourself, what purpose does it serve? And also remember that there's a part of you that never tells the truth. It doesn't tell the truth because it has an image. You have an image of yourself that a part of you wants to maintain no matter what. And that whatever that image of yourself is, there's a part of you that will lie and deceive to keep that image going. Especially the one of being, I'm a nice person. Now, you know you're not nice people. Remember what happened yesterday? I rest my case. I saw a lot of recognition on a lot of faces. See, there's a part of you that wants to keep the halo that you use to protect your goals. You want to protect it from tarnish and rust. And so I'm not saying that who you are is not a loving, loved, and lovable being. Notice I said your image of yourself. And to say you, I said your image of yourself. For instance, if you have an image of yourself that you're not enough, you have an image of yourself that you're not loved, that you're not valuable, that you're not significant, that you're not innocent, and you criticize and you judge yourself and you put yourself down, that's an image of yourself. So you lie in order to keep the negative image of yourself going. What do you mean? Well, you lie by saying you're not beautiful. You lie by saying you're not lovable. You lie by saying you're not loved. That's the lie that you tell yourself to keep the image of yourself going. Wow. Hadn't thought about it that way, had you? So some of y'all some big liars. And you lie all day long. All day long. You put yourself down about... I was at a restaurant the other day, and this young lady was at lunch, I guess with some coworkers or some friends, and they were going to pick up her tab. I guess it was her birthday or something. And I'd never seen a worse receiver in my life. I mean, you could just see her getting, no. They like took about 5 minutes trying to convince her why it's okay. They even broke it down. This only equals $3 each one of us. I mean, seriously, they were doing all of that to try to get this young lady to just say, thank you for the lunch that you want to take care of. And she was like adamant. She still ended up taking some money out of her wallet and throwing it on the table. One of the worst receivers I've ever seen. And that'll be the same person saying, why aren't people loving me? Why aren't people giving to me? How come I don't meet somebody that really gives to me? You're a lousy receiver. Or when you try to, here's another area, compliments. You know, you compliment someone and you tell them how beautiful they are, and they lie. And then they say, that's not true. That's not true about me. So my job is to remember the truth about you, even when you forget it. See, I'm not going to see you the way you see you. I don't even care how you see you. It's none of my business how you see you. It's my business how I see you. And I see you as the holy children of God. I see you as innocent. I see you as juicy and cute. I see you as smart. I see you as deserving love. That's how I see you, or how I want to see you. You understand what I'm saying? So the way I see you, is that impacting me? Absolutely. Because anything that comes through me must have an effect on me. Anything that comes through you has an effect on you. Anger comes through you, it has an effect on you. Love comes through you, it has an effect on you. So you're the first point of anything you give. You're the first one that receives your anger. You're the first one that receives the gratitude that you express. It has to come through you, so it hits you first. So the next time you're keeping yourself miserable because you're angry at somebody else, remember two things. You're the only one that's feeling it, and they aren't. So does it make sense to attack yourself to hurt somebody else who's not even feeling it? Think about how smart that is. Next time you're ready to be angry and hold a grievance that you've been holding since you were in high school. That's you beating yourself up since high school. The person you have the grievance against doesn't know it or feel it. So that's what made me realize that I need to let go of the thoughts that I have that are attacks upon myself. Why am I going to give my enemy the pleasure of me beating myself up? So you can be mad at me. I'm not feeling it. And you're beating the hell out of yourself, and I get a chance to look innocent. While you kicking your own butt. And I can go, oh. I get a chance to look all holy while watching you whoop your own butt. It's great. It's great. It's great. I love it. I love it. That's right. Express your anger. See, I'm not nice. I'm just lovable. So, then it goes on to say, so the image that you have of yourself is a thin veneer which could deceive but those who are content to be deceived. The Course in Miracles says that the easiest person in the world to deceive is a person that wants to be. So if I want to fool myself about something, I'm the easiest person to fool. If I want to deceive myself about my relationship with you, then it's really easy to fool myself because I want to be deceived. I'm trying to convince myself that this is real when it isn't. Then it goes on to say, the goals of your ego are obvious to anyone who cares to look for them. Here is deception double. For the one who is deceived will not perceive that he has merely failed to gain. What does that mean? It means that when I have deceived myself, the deception is me thinking that taking and getting is going to give me what I want, then I am deceived because I have failed to gain, but I don't know it. That's the deception. This isn't benefiting me at all, but I don't know it. That's the deception. And then it says, here is deception double, because the one who is deceived will not perceive that he has merely failed to gain. The one who is deceived will believe that he has served the ego's hidden goals. So even though you're trying to keep your halo, I love that, even though you're trying to keep your halo clear in your vision, still you know there's some tarnished edges, still you know there's a rusty core. And here's the other deception. You believe that your ineffectual mistakes are sins. In other words, the Course in Miracles is saying you all are feeling guilty because of mistakes that you made that have had no effect on anything or anybody real. So I'm beating myself up for something I did 2 weeks ago that hasn't changed anything about me. I'm still loved. I'm still spirit. I'm still forgiven. So whatever you think you've done, you've been forgiven. Whatever you think you've done, you've been forgiven. Whatever you feel is your personal sin is an ineffectual mistake because it didn't change your true nature, which is spirit and love. So your deepest, darkest thoughts, your biggest grievances have not changed you. You're still awesome. You're still lovable. You're still beautiful. Cheryl, please. Do that. I'm glad somebody's making beautiful. Thank you very much. See, you're lying to yourself, so that didn't exactly turn you on. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, if you believe that, you've been all on top of it. You're lying to yourself. That's why we don't get excited about the really loving thoughts we hear. It doesn't fit in with my image. You know, if my parents told me I was stupid, I wasn't enough, I was pathetic, or I was abused in any kind of way, and you tell me I'm sinless, then I am not going to want to buy that, because I built my whole life around my sinful, guilty idea of myself. I know my way around my misery. I don't know my way around unconditional love and acceptance. So I'd rather stay in the hell I'm familiar with than in the heaven that I don't know how to handle. So then it goes on to say that, I love how it says, your ineffectual mistakes appear to be sins to you because you look upon the tarnish as your own tarnish, the rust a sign of deep unworthiness within yourself. You who would still preserve your ego's goals, which is to see you as separate from God and separate from love, you are serving those goals of seeing yourself as separate from love, separate from God, as your own. So you make no mistakes. According to the dictates of your guide, you have made no mistakes in seeing yourself as not being enough. According to the dictates of your guide, and your guide has been the part of you that didn't know you were loving and lovable. If I've been listening to the part of myself that judges and condemns me, then when I judge and condemn myself, I am actually making no mistake according to the dictates of my guide. My guide is saying, Earl, you're not enough. Earl, you're not enough. I say, Earl, you're not enough. Ah, great. I am now serving my guide. So you're listening to your advisor, and your advisor is telling you how to feel about yourself. The problem is you made up the advisor because you're the one that makes up how to see yourself. And then you tell yourself what you told yourself to tell yourself, and then you act like you can't help it. Did anybody's brain explode?
Yes.
Diana, welcome. That's right. Barbara said, I bless the Earl because I bless myself. That's right. That's right. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I like to acknowledge the people. Tony, I haven't seen Tony in a long time. Elizabeth. Did that make sense? Okay. That's the problem, right? It made sense. See, you are not insane. You are not insane. I promise. I got that look again. Still lying to yourself. You know, saying, you don't really know me. I'm crazy as hell. I know I'm cute, but I'm crazy. I just threw a shoe at somebody just last week. I'm quite crazy. I know. But the Course says, this guidance teaches it is an error to believe that your sins are a mistake. So when you listen to your own mind itself, when you listen to the part of you that's not in touch with the truth, called the ego, that part of you is going to tell you, you know what, you are sinful. You were born in sin, you're going to die in sin. As a matter of fact, you came here in sin. That's what I got when I was a kid. I was told just by virtue of being born, I was bad. Right? And then everything I like to do, I was going to hell for doing. I said, is there anything on the list that, you know, it's okay? I pretty much named everything I like. You know, I wasn't too afraid of going to hell because all my buddies were going to be there. I was going to be lonely in heaven. I was going to be so lonely in heaven. And I really wasn't into streets paved with gold. That didn't really move me that much. As a black dude, I wasn't that much into harp music. But they were going to do some funky bass. I might have wanted to go to heaven. You know, little James Brown, you know, Stevie Wonder, I might go to heaven, you know what I'm saying. But other people's idea of heaven was hell to me. Personally, it reminded me of a Twilight Zone show that I saw one time where this elderly couple had made their transition. They were watching like the Lawrence Welk show. I don't know if any of y'all old enough to remember that. Lawrence Welk had this really interesting kind of music, and he was kind of trippy because he had bubbles around him all the time. Lawrence was a trip. But anyway, they was so happy, you know, watching Lawrence Welk. Then there was this biker dude. and he was there. He was losing his mind. He was about to go crazy watching Lawrence Welk. And I was like, see, it was heaven for them and hell for the Bible dude. But it was the same experience. Check that out. So what was the difference? The perception. The interpretation that they had of the experience was determining how they feel. So that means everything in the world is neutral. Just like that Lawrence Welk show was neutral. Everything in your world is neutral. Everything in the world is neutral. But we have no neutral thoughts about any of it. So again, everything's neutral. It's your perception of it that's determining how it affects you. Sex isn't good, sex isn't bad. It's neutral. Your house isn't good, your house isn't, a relationship isn't good, relationship isn't, it's neutral. How you look isn't good or bad. It's neutral. Maybe you don't think you have the most popular body type according to the meanings that people have given to describe what beauty is. And you don't realize you are judging yourself based on an artificial standard that a bunch of people got together and made up that that's what you were supposed to look like. I remember having serious issues as a black child growing up because when I grew up, there were no black people on TV. There were no black people in magazines. There were no black people in the movies unless they were maids, butlers, and talking crazy and all that kind of stuff. So as a kid, I was like, whoa, where am I? I don't see any existence. So that made me feel like I did not have value. It made me feel like God didn't love me. You understand what I'm saying? So my point is, we grow up and we have all these images and beliefs and ideas that we get and we bury them. They become our core beliefs that determine how we experience our whole life. And we don't even realize we're still acting from those beliefs even to today, even though we become more sophisticated in reading books and studying and saying the thing that we don't believe because we haven't had a chance to really deal with the real issues at our core. And the core issue that's creating our pain is a sense of separation from God. That's the only problem that any of us have, is our sense of separation from love. So we try to get it, right? So I want you to know that your sins, your so-called sins, are just mistakes. And mistakes are for correction. Mistakes are not for punishment. If I say 1 and 1 is 7 and you beat the hell out of me, I still would think 1 and 1 is 7. Punishment is not correction. So this is what we do. We learn to be punished when we made a mistake and we think that corrects it. So what do you think you're doing every time you think you've made a mistake or done something wrong? What do you do to yourself? You punish yourself. You're still acting out and I'm still acting out the exact same programming. How do I punish myself? Well, let me just get a relationship that's hell. And since I hate myself completely, let's make sure we live together. That way I can get consistent punishment all times, every day. Okay, I don't think I deserve to be happy. How could I'm still feeling guilty about what I did in the past. How could I punish myself? I know, let's have consistent financial challenges at all times. Let's always have not enough money, always worried about money. Oh, here's a good one. Why don't I have a body that's constantly malfunctioning in some way? That would be a great way to, oh, don't forget this one. Let me go to a job that makes me want to jump out the window. Okay, pardon me, I'm about to just jump out. I'll just see some of you get exactly what I'm talking about. Or here's the most awesome one. Just constantly telling yourself things that make you feel bad. Just running a terrible, what are you doing? I'll tell you what you're doing. You're trying to give yourself enough punishment to finally be absolved of your guilt. And then one day, you do it enough, and you reach your limit. You go, okay, I had done something that I thought was wrong. I gave myself 6 months of punishment, so I've given myself hell for the last 6 months. That's about as much as I think I deserve. And then, you know what happens? Then you start listening to the truth and applying it. Then you start telling yourself the loving things that I tell you to tell yourself. When you reach your limit, you find yourself miraculously starting to practice everything these books have been saying. But if you sentenced yourself to punishment, it doesn't matter what I say, what you read, what workshops you go to, or how much studying that you do, you will not apply one single thing that you've read. Because you've already given yourself the solution to your problem. And that solution is punishment, self-punishment, and self-sabotage. Because when I punish myself, I'm absolved of the guilt, and I'm okay again. It's like when I was a kid, back in the day, you got spankings. Actually, depending on the intensity of your parents, you got beatings. You have to go out in the yard and get your own switches, they used to call it. Don't get a little one either. You better make sure it's a good one, you know. But what happened? After you got the punishment, you and your parents were okay. It was like nothing ever happened until you do it again. Right? Which you will do if you feel guilty and pitiful and like you're not enough. You're going to do it again. So my point is, unconsciously, many people are still acting out that same script. Now you are your own parent punishing you. Where it used to be somebody external doing it, now it's you. And you do a better job than anybody else because you know your weaknesses better than anybody else. So you know exactly what to do to hurt yourself. So what I'm telling you is, stop it. Wish I could make it deeper than that. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. And one of the best ways to stop it is to join with other people who are willing to help you stop it because they're seeing you in a loving way. Don't run away from the people who are kind and loving and avoid them and spend all your time with the people that judge you. Because, again, every relationship is either moving you forward or it's delaying you. Either you're moving me toward peace and love or you're just a delay. Depending on how we are joining and why are we attracted to each other, why is this choice important to us, what purpose is it serving? Because before I get ready to go out, I always ask myself, what's your purpose? If I see somebody and I'm attracted to them, I ask myself, what for? Because I'll get the answer. And I'll hear it. Then I have to decide whether or not I still want to act on it. So I want you to forgive yourself because you've already been forgiven. It's like you and I had a challenge with each other. I've let it go and you haven't. So I'm asking you to let it go because I've already let it go. So I'm willing to be here for you when you decide you're ready to be sane with me again. That's the way I deal with people who I seem to have separation from. I let it go, and then when they're ready to be sane with me again, then I'll welcome them back with open arms. In the meantime, I'm going to party like a big dog. I'm going to have a good time. I'm not going to sit around and have a depression because I'm going to fill up that gap while they're waiting with some good times. That way I'm not sacrificing. And guess what? That makes me very patient about how long it takes for them to want to forgive me. Right? Because I'm not suffering in the meantime. So if you want to take 5 years, it'll be 5 years at Earl Purdy. And you can decide 5 years later that you're ready to be my friend again. Or maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe you don't ever want to be my friend again. That's okay. All relationships are destined to become holy. Sooner or later, we're going to go through enlightenment. And when we go through enlightenment, we're going to realize we're joined one in each other. And so I know sooner or later, they're going to have enlightenment and realize I'm a part of them. I'm going to have enlightenment and realize they're a part of me. Instant forgiveness. So I can just be patient because we're one. So sooner or later, you're going to get it. See, what's making me patient? Because I'm certain of the outcome. I know how it's going to turn out, so I can be patient. All of you all are going to love me, and I'm going to love all of you, sooner or later. So I can be patient, and you can go through whatever you think you need to go through with your grievances and misperceptions and stuff, and figure it all out, and however long you want to take. That's okay. In the end, you're going to love me, and I'm going to love you. So I don't have to spend a lot of time being concerned about how soon you're going to do that, because it's only you that's experiencing this rate of speed that you're giving you love. So you can take as long as you want. but I'm not going to add to your burden by thinking you don't deserve love. That's my role. So it says, and so we come to the criteria for choice that is the hardest to believe because its obviousness, I love this, is overlaid with many levels of obscurity. So what's obvious is hidden by complexity. So if you feel any guilt, check this out, if you feel any guilt about your choice, you have allowed the ego's goals to come between the real alternatives, and the real alternatives are just two. And what are the two real alternatives? The real alternatives are you're always choosing either something that's real or something that's not. Those are the two alternatives. The alternative that's not real that you've been choosing is guilt. You are never really sinful and guilty. You can make a mistake, but your nature is love. So you think there's a choice that's available to you that's not even available to you. You'll never be really guilty. You'll never be really sinful. And that's your mistake, because now you're trying to deal with an artificial evaluation of yourself that has nothing to do. So you're going through all these changes to get rid of your guilt and to make sure you're not really bad and you're not really sinful and that you chose something that made you guilty or that made you bad. And the truth is saying you can't change your nature. So you're spending a lot of time on an ineffectual mistake that could be corrected. The only two choices you really have is something that's real and something that's not. Something that's loving and something that's fearful. Something that's abundant or something that's lacking. Something that's conflict or something that's peaceful. Stop spending all your time beating yourself up about the effects of mistakes that don't have any real power over you. I see why it's hard to do stuff like this. Come to classes like this. Read books like this. It doesn't fit the lie. It's not supporting your lie. Because now that means nobody's responsible for your unhappiness. So that's why, you can't blame your parents. I certainly can't blame mine. They're not even in the body. It's my dad's fault. Boy, your dad had been gone since you were 23 years old. Let it go. Your childhood is such a distorted memory that what you think about your childhood, most of it never even really happened. Stop blaming your childhood for what you're going through today, because today you can make a new choice. Today you can make a new decision. Today you can start thinking differently. So I don't want to hear about your childhood. And you shouldn't want to hear about your childhood either, if you're not remembering the loving thoughts. Remember only the loving thoughts. Only the loving thoughts are real. The rest of it is your story. And it's time to give your story up. Nobody cares about your story. I wish I could break it to you that people really care about your story, but they really don't care. You know what I'm saying? They really don't. All you have to do, I can prove it to you right now. How many people's stories do you think about all day? Right, yours. That's it. I can tell you the most challenging thing that ever happened to me, the most painful thing, you might go, oh. Now, do we want to go to Pete's for dinner? See, and so when you get to the point that that's the way you are about your own story, now you got it. You follow me? When I can have that same level of detachment about the stuff I'm telling myself, that's when my happiness is going to happen. Okay. Now, basically, every day is the same. If you be honest, every day you live is pretty much the same. Come on, be straight up. I mean, you know it is. There's not any grand variations of your day. I mean, they're really big variations. It's really basically the same thing in different forms. But have you noticed that even though basically your days are pretty much the same, that you'll say one day was a really cool day, and then you said the next day was a crappy day, and then the next day you said that was a great day. Notice, but nothing was really that different. You went to work, you took a shower, you put on your clothes, you drove around, you gave people finger in the traffic, unless you're nice. I know nice people don't do that. They've never done that. Okay. My point is, then what's making a bad day? That's right. It's the purpose you've given it, the way you decided to see it that day, and the way you tried to respond. So why don't you go straight to happiness a lot easier by realizing that there's no external condition that's creating your unhappiness. And so what would be an external condition? It would be me believing that I'm sinful and guilty, that my mistakes are so great they couldn't even be corrected by God. And that's why it says we come to the criterion for choice that's the hardest to believe, because its obviousness is overlaid with many levels of obscurity. If you feel any guilt about your choice, then you've allowed the ego's goals to come between the alternatives. What does that mean? You don't realize that you just have two alternatives. What are the two alternatives? What's real and what's not? And the alternative you think you chose seems fearful. What's the alternative you think you chose? To feel guilty, feel bad, and you think it's too dangerous. You also think it's dangerous to be the nothing that it really is. See, that guilt and fear produces such a reaction from you that it's hard for you to believe that it's nothing. See, your emotional response is what's convincing you that it must really be there because of how you feel. So let's review it right quick. All things are valuable or valueless. That means all things are worthy or not of being sought at all. It means that everything is either entirely desirable or not worth the slightest frigging effort to obtain. Complexity is nothing but a smoke screen, which hides the very simple fact that no decision can be difficult. No decision is difficult. No decision is difficult. What? No decision is difficult. Because you're only deciding between what's real, and you can always count on it, and what's not. And so he says, what is the gain to you in learning this? Well, it's far more than merely letting you make choices easily without pain. Heaven itself, which is love, heaven is reached how? With empty hands and open minds. I can't give you a gift if you got something in your hand. I can't give you a gift if your fists are closed. So I have to have an open mind, empty hands, which is a mind that comes with nothing. I'm going to admit I don't know everything. I don't know everything. I don't know everything. And it says it comes with nothing to find everything and claim it as its own. I don't know everything, but I'm willing to have everything. I don't know anything, but I'm willing to have everything. Then it goes on, the Course in Miracles says, we will attempt to reach this state when? Today. So let's do it. It says, with self-deception laid aside. What's an example of self-deception laid aside? Well, self-deception laid aside means I'm no longer seeing myself as a victim of the world I see. I'm no longer seeing myself as guilty. I'm no longer seeing myself as sinful. I'm no longer seeing myself in any way that keeps me from loving myself. So that's me letting self-deception be laid aside. If I'm saying anything other than how loving and lovable and deserving I am, then I am deceiving myself. Now, as I'm talking, I realize that what's happening in the room is exactly what I described earlier. People are listening to me, interpreting it. Some people's interpretation makes them go unconscious and want to go to sleep. Some people's interpretation makes them hang on every word that I'm saying. Some people's interpretation makes them space out. See, so what is the beauty of what I'm doing right now? I'm giving you what I want to receive. So when I walk out of the room, this is more reinforced in my life and in my way of behaving, and my life improves. Whether any of you do anything, that's love. My trust in you to receive this when you see it as a blessing and not a curse. Because if you really saw it as something that was going to help you, you'd be totally focused in. So you got another solution you come up with that I'm not giving you. And that's why you can't tune in. You've made up your mind. It's something else. And I'll tell you what the Course in Miracles said that something else is. somebody outside of you going to rescue you. You're looking for me to tell you who's going to make it better for you without you doing anything. And I say you, if it don't apply to you, I'm not talking to you. Okay? What I'm saying applies to who it applies to. So we be clear. Right? So he says we're going to attempt to reach this state today with self-deception laid aside, with an honest willingness to value what's truly valuable and real. We're going to say to ourselves, I will not value what is valueless, and only what has value do I seek, and only that do I desire to find. And then you receive what waits for everyone who reaches unencumbered the gate of heaven, which is love. And the gate of love, the gate of heaven, is going to swing open as you come. It's like when you get ready to go into Target. Right? You walk up to the door. That's the way the gate of heaven works. The gate of love is like, this real love. And when I walk up on her, when I walk up on him, they go, shh. All right. Now, I'm seeing dots before my eyes. I'm seeing dots before my eyes. Okay, so should you begin to let yourself collect some needless burdens? I love this. I'm a needless burden collector. That's what I do. I collect needless burdens all day. So as you let yourself collect some needless burdens, or you believe you see some difficult decisions facing you, be quick. Be what? Quick. Be quick to answer with this simple thought. So let me say this again. If I see myself collecting a lot of needless burdens, if I see myself facing some difficult decisions, what do? I quickly answer, I will not value what is valueless, for what is valuable belongs to me. I will not value what's valueless in this situation. What's valuable belongs to me in this situation. I will not value what's valueless. What's valueless belongs to me. I will not value what's valueless. What's valuable belongs to me. I'm beginning to collect a needless burden. I'm beginning to believe I'm guilty or bad. I'm beginning to believe that I'm a victim. I'm beginning to believe that I don't deserve the happiness that these books tell me. Be quick to answer, well, I will not value that valueless thought. Because what's valuable belongs to me. What's valuable belongs. God belongs to you. Love belongs to you. Life belongs to you. Everything belongs to you. You're fantastic. Would you acknowledge yourself here in this? All right. Okay, so I'm going to complete by doing a little thing to bring it all together. So let's do the financial expression of appreciation. Thank you for sharing with me. I do this full time in the world, so I really appreciate you all seeing value enough to share financially. All that I give is given to myself. It comes from the Holy Spirit. Also, please go to my website or come up front and sign up for the contact list. Because it's this spring I will be doing some what I call advanced mind training. Advanced mind and heart training classes. For the people, there are a lot of people that are telling me they're doing their work and they want to go deeper with me. And so I'm going to do things that are especially around that, online as well as in here. So if you're not on my contact list, I can't let you know about it. Those of you online, if you're not on my contact list, I can't let you know about it. So take a moment to go to my website and sign up. You know, I want to join with my mighty companions who are tired of the lie and they're ready to do something about it. I'm available for one-on-one sessions called clarity sessions where I work with you individually and I use my knowledge of astrology, which I love, and numerology, which I love. Both of those are other ways that spirit can communicate information to us that's helpful. People in the West are so left-brained, so intellectual, so logical that they completely tend to disavow the psychic, intuitive side of our being. You can find out a lot of things quicker through intuition and psychic communication than anything you'll ever study in a book trying to use your reasoning, logical mind. You need to use both. You need to use both. So I bring everything into my session. So go to my website, earlpurdy.com. It explains. My sessions are not free. All right, I have hundreds of classes that I have put online for free. Big is A3. Okay, because I'm going to invest even more in you personally, and I want to see you invest something in you. Yeah, I believe you are worth it. People that spend $200 on a Bronco ticket and then scream about a session. You know, what is your value? You know, what's valuable to you? My time is valuable to me. I have to receive at this level in order to take care of the needs I have in the world, just like you do. And I'm willing to be completely helpful and care as deeply as I can. And you're innocent, you know. So I'm okay about asking, and you need to become okay about asking for what you do, because people value more what they invest in than they do something that's given freely until they wake up. And then when you wake up, you value it all. But when you're asleep, you don't value things that are given freely. It doesn't seem like it must be that worth that much if you're letting me have it for nothing. It's funny how the mind works. It's funny. So I'm here for you in the way I can be. Yeah, bro.
I was just going to say, as a person who's done a few of your sessions, one session with Earl is better than a year of psychotherapy.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Well, you know, I like to say,
You hear more truth.
if you can take it, you know, because I'm a psychotherapist. I specialize in psychos, you know. And we're psychos! In terms of some of the insane stuff we've learned, and that's what I was saying earlier. We're not insane, we've learned insane lessons. We were taught insane stuff.
Yes.
And so we're acting, and we missed the most obvious clue. It isn't making us completely happy.
No.
We miss it. We miss the most obvious clue that what we learn from the world must not be true. It's that it's too many miserable people. And they're trying to act out according to what they learn. And that should be our way of knowing. You know, let's see here. Take a breath. I will not value what is valueless, and only what has value do I seek. Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock, online, Facebook live streaming, and here I do a course, The Way of Mastery. Way of Mastery is awesome. Thursday nights at 7 o'clock, all Mountain Standard Time, I live stream another class called A Course of Love. Also, these are the most powerful teachings that will blow your mind. In other words, there's a lot of support for you. I will not value what is valueless, and only what has value do I seek. For only that do I desire to find. I will not value what is valueless, and only what has value do I seek. And only what has value do I desire to find. So I'd like to ask you to do something right now. I'd like to ask you to close your eyes and focus on my voice. Close your eyes and focus on my voice. You will not value what is valueless in this situation that you are in. You will not value what is valueless, and only what has value do you seek. And only what has value do you seek. And only what has value do you desire to find. And only what has value do you desire to find. You will not value what is valueless. And the only thing that has value is love. You will not value what is valueless. And only what has value do you love. And only what has value do you seek. And only what has value do you deserve to find. And only what has value do you deserve to find. And only what has value do you desire to find. So said you find yourself collecting some needless values. I'll say it again. Should you find yourself collecting some needless burdens? What's the example of a needless burden? Believing that you are guilty, believing that you are sinful, believing that you are unworthy, believing that you are bad, believing that you are in lack, or believing that you are a victim, believing that you are lonely, and believing that you are alone. Those are needless burdens. Stop crucifying yourself for mistakes you've made in the past. Listen to me now. You have already been forgiven. 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 You must forgive yourself now. You must forgive yourself now, because you have already been forgiven. You have already been forgiven. Forgiveness offers everything you want. And forgiveness is the key to happiness. And forgiveness means release. To forgive means to release. To release yourself, release yourself, release yourself, release yourself from the lie. So say to yourself, I release myself from the lie. 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 I release myself from the, say it with me, anybody, release myself from the lie. I release myself from the lie. I release myself from the lie. I release myself from the lie. And the lie is that you are not juicy and sweet. And the lie is that you're not beautiful and neat. Oh, the lie tells you that you are something that can be beat. That's a lie. Don't believe the lie of guilt. Don't believe the lie that you are sinful. Don't believe the lie that you are alone. Don't believe the lie that you can't be happy. Don't believe the lie. Don't believe the lie. Don't believe the lie. Don't believe the lie, because the lie is what is valueless, and you will not value what is valueless, and you will not value what is valueless. Ah. Ooh. Next time you go in Target, think about heaven. I love you. Thank you, mighty companions. Woo! Hugs are available, and like I always say, may the course be with you. Appreciate y'all. Awesome. Love you. Can I get that from you? Will not value what is valueless.